today. So we will be talking about the nature of questions that are being asked, the syllabus and the sources that you have to study and how we will be moving out. Okay. So first of all, let us talk about the nature of examination. And I always say that you will be finding that in almost every type of examination, particularly when we are talking about competitive examinations, what we find that there are three type of questions. There are essentially three type of questions. One type of questions I call them as direct questions. Direct questions. Second type of questions are what I simply call them as tricky questions. And third, this I could have written tricky के बजाय indirect भी लिख सकता था, but if you talk about tricky sounds to be better representative of the questions which are being asked. ठीक है? So that is why I am writing here tricky. And third category is the case of exceptional questions. Exceptional questions. So there are always in any examination, there are three type of questions. ठीक है? Kalyani, you ask your doubt this kind of issues at the end of the class. It is a request because there is something which we are doing related with the content. Okay. So there are three types: direct, tricky, and exceptional questions. Now, if you talk about these three, normally what has been the share? I will say, if you talk about before 2009 and here it is after 2009. ठीक है? And we are talking about obviously the geography optional. The share of these questions have been like they have ranged between 40 to 50%. Tricky questions have been like in fact before 2009 ये और भी ज़्यादा वैसा था and it was like 65 to 70% of the questions belonged to this category. Tricky questions, if you talk about, they were there, particularly paper 2 में tricky questions होते थे and in fact paper 2 मैंने include नहीं किया, रुको. So you can say 50 to 60% here. Here is 40 to 50%, and if you talk about exceptional questions, they were almost from 0 to 10%. ठीक है? I hope this point is clear. What do you understand by direct questions? इसको भी बता देते हैं. What do you understand by the direct questions? What do you mean by direct questions? Anyone would like to help me out in this? Direct questions are those questions which we have already prepared. ठीक है? Which we are, it is not about definition, it is not about those things. These are those questions which we have prepared and they are coming directly in the examination. ठीक है? These type of questions are more direct. Yes, more straightforward. There is less trick involved. Yes, directly from the syllabus topics which are mentioned. So yes, you can also call them as traditional questions. Tricky questions are such type of questions where they will make the language of the questions more tricky. These are those questions you would have studied as a part of your preparation, but still it would be like a little bit tricky. Like for example, let me give you an example. If a question is asked, suppose on tropical cyclones, uh, explain the formation of tropical cyclones. ठीक है? Explain the formation of tropical cyclones. So can we say it is a direct question? Obviously, yes. Second, if you talk about second question, suppose एक question आता है. In recent times, North Atlantic has become a hotbed of tropical cyclone activity. Examine. ठीक है? Examine. अब यहाँ पर लिखना, you have to same thing. You have to talk about how, what are the factors which are important for formation of tropical cyclone, the preconditions for formation of tropical cyclones. You have to write on the basis of that also. वहां पर भी लिखना था, when you have to explain the formation of tropical cyclone, you will talk about the preconditions for the formation of tropical cyclones. But here you will be using that preconditions to write in a more contemporary sense, using lots of examples, evidences. ठीक है? So again, here, can you understand the language of the question makes it more tricky? Do you get it what I'm saying? एक और एग्जाम्पल दे देता हूं. सपोज देर इज अ क्वेश्चन, एक्सप्लेन द कंसेप्ट ऑफ social capital. Social capital. So this is what? This is a more direct question. But suppose there is another question which says, examine the role of social capital in achieving the targets of population policy. Achieving the targets of population policy. अब यहां पर मैंने क्या किया? Can you see that I have linked two topics of our syllabus? Can you see that? I have linked two topics of our syllabus. Both these topics are mentioned. Social capital is mentioned in our syllabus and population policy is also mentioned in our syllabus. So what I have done, I have linked them and I have made the question more tricky. So I hope you get what is tricky type of questions. ठीक है? एक और एग्जाम्पल देता हूं. I'll give you many examples. You'll get to understand. There is one question which I can ask you. Explain or examine the Penk's theory of slope development. This is more direct question. ये डायरेक्ट हो गया. ठीक है? It is a more direct type of question. It is about slope development concept. There can be more tricky questions on slope. Like for example, once they asked in the examination, explain the role of Bosch and Heldenhang in the process of slope replacement. Can you understand this point now? Here उन्होंने क्वेश्चन वही पूछा है, पेंक्स थ्योरी ऑफ डेवलपमेंट, slope development. But what they have done, they have asked more detailed version. They have asked these terms which students normally didn't prepare, because these are German terms. For them, what students used to prepare, this is Bosch is nothing but a gravity slope, and Held-and-Hang is the debris slope. So just by adding two words, what they made this question very tricky. ठीक है, और भी ट्रिकी कैटेगरी के क्वेश्चंस हो सकते हैं, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल स्लोप में ही देखें तो मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टडीज ऑफ स्लोप डेवलपमेंट have less application are less applied in nature. So can you see what they have done? Now they are connecting the theories with application part. What is their applicability? ठीक है. So in UPSC, normally what was happening before 2009, there used to be more direct questions, and tricky questions were very few. Exceptional questions ऐसे होते हैं जो पढ़े नहीं हैं, ठीक है. They are like totally out of box type of questions. Like 2018 में I think this question was asked, or I think 18 it was, yes. In 2018, there was one question asked, and this was about pave theory. Explain the concept or the aspects of pave theory. अब pave theory हमने भी नहीं पढ़ाया था. It was like a bouncer, and it was about perception, attitude, values, emotions. That is what we mean by pave. ठीक है. So tell me, you must have given even before several competitive examinations, like engineers ने IIT के एग्जाम दिए होंगे, or in your school you might have given some scholarship tests or examination, or others you might have given some other examination like bank, PO, SSC. Tell me one thing, don't you think कि this is the nature of question paper in all the competitive examinations across? बताओ मुझे. इट इज देयर एवरी कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन. सो सपोज तुमने जब इंजीनियरिंग की तैयारी कर रहे थे, या फिर इफ यू आर स्टिल राइटिंग और ट्राइंग फॉर एसएससी और बैंक पीओ, एनी ऑफ दीज एग्जामिनेशन, डिडंट द टीचर्स और योर सीनियर्स told you that if you are stuck on any question, what you have to do? You have to move on. Yes or no? Tell me. Were you not being told this? That if you get stuck on any of these questions, don't waste time and you just move on. Because in the examination, what they are doing, they are setting the questions in such a manner, they are also doing your psychological test. ठीक है, psychological test. So if you are stuck at few things, that means your personality is not suitable for the job or for the task which you want to do. ठीक है, कहने का मतलब है these exceptional questions are there in every paper. कोई ऐसा पेपर नहीं होता है where there are no such exceptional questions, and we are talking about competitive examination. वो स्कूल वाले एग्जामिनेशन नहीं जिसमें 99.9% और वैसे नंबर आते हैं. ठीक है. So there is always there is exceptional question. So हमेशा एक या दो क्वेश्चन रहेंगे. Sometimes when they are not there, we'll call the paper as very easy. So can you understand this ratio determines whether the paper is easy or difficult. ठीक है. So that is the trend before 2009. Here there are few questions being asked. When will the next batch of optional foundation start? देखो अब मैंने एक चीज डिसाइड कर लिया है. आई हैव डिसाइडेड दिस दैट most probably what will happen, the next batch will be offline. ठीक है, we are not very comfortable in the online. ठीक है, so we will focus more on our offline part. So इसलिए कह रहा हूँ those of you who will not be able to come offline, join this batch. अगले बैच के चक्कर में मत रहो. It is not sure that there will be another online batch. Offline batch तो होगा. And if things open up, then there will be a winter offline batch. ठीक है, which will start somewhere in November. Okay. So this was the case before 2009. Now after 2009, what has happened? Scenario has changed. Now direct questions, if you look into paper 1 and paper 2 both, paper 1 में direct question ज़्यादा होते हैं compared to paper 2. Paper 2 is very dynamic. So मैं दोनों को combinedly बता रहा हूँ यहाँ पर. So paper 1, it is like 30 to 40%. And tricky questions, it is like 60 to 70%. So दोनों के मिला करके paper 1 and paper 2, this is the ratio which comes now today. And again we can find that the exceptional questions generally raise they are between 0 to 10%. ठीक है, they are between 0 to 10%. Although 0 कभी भी नहीं होता है, it is always higher. ठीक है, so this is basically the if you talk about the pattern which will be there, which we find. Yes, Satnam, I know that the offline is very, very convenient to the students, and online I am also not very, very, you can say, comfortable teaching. I don't also enjoy teaching online when I cannot meet the students, I cannot see your satisfied faces. It is not giving me satisfaction as a teacher. So, हमने क्या सोचा? Actually, I'll tell you, the futuristic thing which we are thinking is that we will continue the online of this optional classes, not online exactly, it will be more like a recorded form. So it will not be online classes, live classes nahi hongi. The online will be more in the form of recorded classes. ठीक है, Bipto, you have talked about your issue and wait for your turn. When I will take answer, I will try to illustrate it. Shubham, still you can join 500 plus. There is still chance you can join that. Okay. So this is the nature of change which has happened in the paper today. Now what we find that there is more tricky questions which are there. Also, there is one more change. And one very important change which has taken place today is that normally before 2009, what was the scenario? You had to attempt how many questions in total? You had to attempt 3 questions. Like for example, there was section A and there is section B. इसमें से question number 1 was, this was compulsory question, and it had 5 questions, out of which you have to attempt 3 questions. That means there was choice available. Even in compulsory, there was choice available. Then there was question number 2, question number 3, and question number 4. So these were there. And here again, question number 5, it was also compulsory, and there was 5 questions, you have to attempt 3 questions. Actually मैं एक चीज और बता देता हूँ. Geography में खास बात क्या था? This was compulsory, it was map work question, and map works used to come easy. So question number 5 was like this. Then question number 6, question number 7, question number 8. ठीक है, ये सब कितने मार्क्स के होते थे? ऑल ऑफ देम वर 60 मार्कर्स. ठीक है, और इसमें देर वॉज ओनली वन क्वेश्चन, हियर ऑल्सो वन क्वेश्चन, हियर ऑल्सो वन क्वेश्चन, हियर वन क्वेश्चन, हियर वन, एंड हियर वन क्वेश्चन. दैट मीन्स टोटल तुम्हें कितने अटेम्प्ट करने होते थे? ईदर यू हैव टू अटेम्प्ट, ये कंपल्सरी तो अटेम्प्ट करना ही है, वी हैव टू अटेम्प्ट दिस कंपल्सरी, देर वॉज, this was compulsion, but beside this compulsory we had to attempt 3 more questions. So it was our choice whether I will attempt, इसमें होता ये था कि you have to attempt 3 more questions, you have to attempt, and at least one from each section. From each section. So now it was my choice कि मैं 2 क्वेश्चन सेक्शन ए से अटेंड करूं, या फिर आई अटेम्प्ट 2 क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम सेक्शन बी. एक्चुअली ये सेक्शन बी है. इट वाज माय चॉइस. टोटल, इन टोटल आई हैव टू अटेम्प्ट 3 क्वेश्चन. सो टेल मी कितने टोटल मुझे क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट करने हैं? 3. दिस 3 क्वेश्चंस प्लस 3 शॉर्ट नोट्स हियर, दैट मीन्स 3 प्लस 3 6, और एक मैपवर्क का क्वेश्चन होता था. तो टोटल हम कह सकते हैं कि वी हैड टू अटेम्प्ट 7 क्वेश्चंस इन द एग्जामिनेशन. दिस वाज द पैटर्न बिफोर 2009. टेल मी, इज इट क्लियर टू यू? इज इट क्लियर? Rajat, I will give my number at the end of the class. You message me and we'll talk. Okay. So that is before 2009. अब change क्या हुआ? एक 2008 UPSC changed the syllabus of geography. ठीक है, syllabus was changed. Several new topics were added as a part of the optional subject. And from 2009, what we find, they began to change the pattern of the paper. And what has the pattern which has evolved today? So after 2009, we are finding again there is same thing, section A and section B. Section A. Now what they have done, they have removed the map work. ठीक है, they have removed the map work. 2009 में still था, लेकिन जैसे इवॉल्व हुआ है 2010-11 से ऐसा ही पैटर्न हो गया. And if you talk about section A, you will be finding that there is question 1, which is again compulsory question. और इसके अंदर कितने क्वेश्चन होते हैं? There are 5 questions and all compulsory. ठीक है, they are all compulsory. Question number 2, question number 3, question number 4. Each of these questions have now, पहले क्या होता था? एक ही क्वेश्चन होता था, लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन 60 मार्कर. Now what they have done, each of these questions have 3 parts. ठीक है, so each of these, like for example, there will be 2A, B, C. Similarly, 3A, B, C. Similarly, 4A, B, C. और इसमें क्या होता है? A is 20 marks question, B and C are 15 marks question. B and C are 15 marks question. Again, these are choice. इसमें से जैसे पहले होता था, same thing applies here. But if you are choosing question number 4, you'll have to attempt all A, B and C. If you are choosing question number 3, you'll have to attempt all the parts. Question number 2, all the parts. ठीक है. Then section B. Again, the same thing repeated here. Question number 5 is the compulsory question, which has 5 questions to answer. Then question number 6, question number 7, question number 8. And each of these, like here, they have A, B, and C. A is 20 marks. B, if you talk about, is 15 marks. And C is again 15 marks. Okay. It is same here also, that you have to attempt these compulsory question and 3 extra. And you can choose 2 questions from any of these sections, but one question has to be, at least one question has to be attempted from these sections, from the choice type. ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि सपोज आई चूज क्वेश्चन नंबर 2, question number 4 and question number 7. Now tell me how many questions actually I will be answering now. In terms of sheer number of questions. Tell me. Yes. Now we are answering staggering 19 questions. We are answering total 19 questions in the examination. Has the time allotted been changed? No. The time is same. You get 3 hours to answer that. Here we were answering 7 questions. So can you see almost 3 times increase, little less than 3 times increase in the number of questions is there. Can you get what I'm trying to explain you? Can you understand the increasing challenge in the optional papers? How the challenge has become much more today? How the pattern is changing? Now also answer me one thing, that before, when you have to ask only 7 questions, when you had to ask this much number of questions, tell me now, can we say that UPSC had limitation? Okay, UPSC has limitation that it will not be able to cover whole of the syllabus. Yes or no? Will it be able to cover whole of the syllabus through the paper, or much of the syllabus through the paper? Definitely no, because it was asking very very limited question. Total question कितने पूछता था उस टाइम पर? It was 3, 3, 6. ठीक है, 6 plus 5, 11. Total questions ही पूछता था 11. ठीक है. So within 11 question, they were not able to cover the entire syllabus. They were just more limited to the direct ones. More easy questions used to come that time. Today what has happened? Now the total number of questions which they can ask you. Can you understand? 3 into 6 is 18 questions are here. That means there are total 28 questions they can ask you. Total 28 questions they can ask you. So tell me, with this, can they cover broader areas of the syllabus? In the new pattern, can they cover broader areas of the syllabus? Obviously, yes, they can cover broader areas of the syllabus. अब इस क्वेश्चंस में देखो, suppose they are asking question number 4. Let us see question number 4. It is physical geography section A. Now tell me that in physical geography section A, do we find that before, compare करते हैं before, suppose before UPSC was asking question number 4. So can we say कि UPSC के पास choice था, क्योंकि एक ही question पूछना है question number 4. So either it will ask question from geomorphology or climatology or oceanography or biogeography or environmental geography. Yes or no? एक ही पूछ सकता है, 5 टॉपिक्स हैं फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी में, सेक्शन ए में वी हैव सीन यस्टरडे, so it can ask only one question. So tell me, if this was the pattern and you choose कि मैं suppose इन 5 में से 3 अच्छे से तैयार कर लेता हूं and rest एवं ही हो जाएगा and I go into the examination, can I say that if I prepare out of 5 3 topics, still I will be at least able to manage one question? Yes or no? Will I still be able to at least manage one question? इसमें से जो 3 में से एक मुझे एक अटेम्प्ट करना ही है, आई विल बी स्टिल एबल टू गेट. ठीक है, so that was more easy type of thing. But now tell me, when they can ask A B C, can we say कि वो ऐसा भी कर सकते हैं कि हर क्वेश्चन में उन्होंने मिक्स कर दिया. सपोज क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 में A is related with geomorpho, B is climatology, C is oceanography. Here they have put climatology, biogeography and oceanography. Here they have put geomorphology, environmental geography and biogeography. अब मुझे बताओ, टेल मी नाउ, टेल मी, कैन वी से अब मुझे 5 के 5 टॉपिक सही से तैयार करने पड़ेंगे? यस और नो? Now do I have to prepare all these very holistically? Do I have to prepare these topics, all the 5 topics of section A, to make sure that at least one question I am able to attempt? There is more unpredictability now compared to what it was before. ठीक है? So can you understand the level of difficulty which has increased in the paper? So this is the pattern change which has occurred. Now tell me one more thing, that we find that UPSC had a bad phase, particularly between 2011 to 2016. This was the bad phase of geography optional. ठीक है, it is, we can say, bad phase. In terms of marks people were getting, in terms of selection that was there. ठीक है, अब मुझे बताओ, can we say, is it all much related to the changes which occurred? Yes or no? Don't you think ये मैंने बताया इस तरह का पैटर्न 2011 से चल रहा है, where this much number of questions now you have to answer. Also the syllabus change which was there. ठीक है, सो देखो इस बीच में बैड फेज क्यों रहा, आई विल टेल यू. बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स दे यूज टू, फॉर एग्जाम्पल सेक्शन ए में से, इफ आई टॉक जस्ट अबाउट सेक्शन ए, in fact I'll show you. What they used to do, if you look into the previous year papers, you will be finding they used to prepare geomorphology, एक क्वेश्चन 100%, 160 marker, 100% it was that it will be coming in the examination. Similarly climatology, 160 marker, 100% question आना ही आना है. And then what they will do, they will prepare one more out of these 5, it was oceanography. ठीक है, So they used to prepare three questions हो गए उनके. Fine. Then coming to section B, ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी. ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी में पर्सपेक्टिव कोई नहीं पढ़ता था. इट इज़ वेरी फिलोसफिकल. इकोनॉमिक ज्योग्राफी इज़ वेरी वास्ट, so they used to leave. Population settlement geography was manageable, so this was one area which they used to study. Models and theories was another area which they used to study. So नीचे से दो टॉपिक उठा लिए. So tell me, out of 10 topics कितने टॉपिक्स में काम हो गया? Some of them who were more serious, they also used to study one more. Regional planning भी कर लिया because छोटा है बहुत. So 5 to 6 topics किया और काम हो गया. It used to be like that. ठीक है? You study, you prepare well 5 to 6 topics and you are through. You'll get, at least you'll manage geography well. Now think about a scenario where a teacher who was a person who was an aspirant who faced this kind of scenario before 2008, and he was preparing for geography. He was good aspirant. He was working very hard studying, and हुआ क्या? Unluckily, he could not get selected in the examination. ठीक है? He could not get selected in the examination. So forcefully he had to become teacher. क्योंकि इंडिया में वैसे ही कैरियर चॉइसेस कम है. So forcefully he had to become teacher. Now when he becomes teacher, tell me, can I say which topics he will be more comfortable teaching? Tell me, which topics do you think he will be more comfortable in teaching? Can I say, ये जो अभी हमने टॉपिक्स मार्क किए हैं, these will be the topics he will be most comfortable in teaching? Those 5 to 6 topics. और बाकी को क्या करेगा? एमए ही निकाल देगा. He'll just skip them or do it very fast. I have students tell me that many teachers, what they do, they teach perspectives in 3 days, 4 days. And many other similar topics they are doing, biogeography, environment geography, they'll not almost take classes on them. ठीक है? अब you understand that this change which we are talking about, this change was taking place also for the teachers. ठीक है? It was also taking for the teachers also. And can I say, though that person who became that teacher also wouldn't have find himself to be comfortable, himself or herself to be comfortable in this pattern, in this new pattern that we are talking about, yes or no? Tell me. सीधी सी बात है. Also imagine that in the previous scenario, those students who became teachers, they got success also. They became successful. ठीक है? They became very successful, partly because of their luck and partly because the pattern was easy. What they were doing was very relevant before 2008. It was very relevant. That was the way you will get selected, through focused studies, through selective studies. It was working. Those selective studies were working that time. So will he would have also lots of energy to work hard to make sure that he will also be able to cope. अगर सपोज करो कि मैं टीचर हूँ, मेरे पास 1000 बच्चे 2000 बच्चे साल में ऐसे ही आ जाते हैं बिना कुछ किए, जो पैटर्न चल रहा है उसी तरह से पढ़ाते पढ़ाते. If students are coming to me without any much hard work, just because the same pattern I am repeating every year, because after teaching so many years, what will happen? I'll get used to that. So tell me, will I have motivation to do so much hard work, become again student and study number of things? Will I have motivation? Can we say it will be very difficult? Yes or no? It will be actually very difficult. Becoming a student is not easy. So what happened during this period? What teachers were supplying was this. What was the, this was the demand of UPSC, and this is the content supplied by teachers and coachings. So can you see this big gap? Can you see this big gap? ठीक है? And can you understand this bad phase? Can you understand this bad phase? This was the primary reason. So क्या यूपीएससी ने कोई partiality किया geography के साथ? Did UPSC did some kind of partiality with geography? No. Did the ability of students drastically go down? No. Where the lacuna was, it was with the content which was provided, because most of the students, when they are coming, they are like kind of have a very good faith in the coaching institutes, in the teachers. So teachers will very confidently tell you कि अरे हमारा notes पढ़ो सब खत्म हो जाएगा. But when you just study those limited notes and you go in the examination, students used to find कि उससे तो कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा. ठीक है? After 2016, however, things began to improve. For example, in 2017, there were 5 students who got marks 300 plus. Out of this, 4 were guidance students. In 2018, there were 11 students who achieved 300 plus marks. Out of this 11, 10 were directly guidance students. इस समय तक गाइडेंस इतना फेमस हो चुका था कि सब उसके नोट्स पढ़ते थे. 2019, दिस ईयर ओवरऑल सबके मार्क्स कम हो गए. ऑप्शनल को डाउन स्केल, they have downscaled the marks of optional so that the relative weightage of GS increases. ठीक है, that was done in 2019. Still there was one person who cleared, still, because इस समय marks जो थे, they were between 260 to 290, all the selected students marks. ठीक है, but still there is one student who has scored, that is 300 plus marks, and that is Nimish Patil. Again, he is guidance students. Most of these students who have got 280, 290 plus marks, they are again from where? They are again from Guidance IAS. So हमने क्या किया? What we did? Did we give some magic pill to them, to these students? Definitely no. We didn't give them magic pills. Then what we changed? We changed nothing. What we did? We just filled this gap. We just filled this gap. हमने ये content gap fill कर दिया. And literally speaking, students are smart. They are hardworking. Once you do that, they will get through. They'll get their targets. The role of teacher is only 10 to 15%. it is actually the students who work hard and get selected. Otherwise, I am teaching more than 1,000 students in a year. Why it is like कि every year जो मेरे coaching से selections होते हैं, they are like somewhere ranging between 50 to 100. इतने ही students select हो पाते हैं. सारे के सारे क्यों नहीं हो जाते? Why not all? Because my role is 10 to 15%. 85 to 90% role is yours. How much you are working hard. What I can best do, I can give you direction, I can give you guidance, and I can give you some content. But भाई उसको पढ़ना तो तुम्हें पड़ेगा. You'll have to study. You'll have to ultimately mug it up. You'll have to memorize. You will have to uh, practice answer writing. All these things you will be doing. I cannot go and in the examination and be there for you. I cannot write the paper for you. It is you who will be doing all these things. ठीक है? I hope you get the thing which I am telling you here. So now what has happened? Many things have changed. And under such scenario, if you are aware about guidance, guidance is known for its content. And you have already seen my teaching style, how I teach the content. There will not be any problem in understanding. That is what I can assure you. Now, let us dig more into what has happened during this period. Particularly between 2011 and 2016, one pattern was found that paper 1 was crucial to selection. Okay, it was crucial to selection. So let us see. We find that 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, and there was also 2017. So what we find here, we are talking about paper 1. Here paper 1 was comparatively easier. Here paper 2 was difficult. Here again paper 1 was difficult. Paper 2 गलती से बोला मैंने. Paper 1 I am speaking. It was difficult. 2014 it became little easy. 2015 again difficult. 2016 it was comparatively easy. 2017 it was difficult. ठीक है? Difficult. So this was the nature of paper 1. Now if we look into the selection or the success rate of geography, what we find, 2011 we find that the selection was average selection. That means lots of people got selected actually. 2012 paper difficult tha. What would have happened? We found that it was very difficult to find people in top 100. ऐसा भी scenario था geography से, and it was very bad. The selection rate was very bad that year. Tejasvi, the next batch is starting from 5th of July. Then if you talk about 2013, again difficult. Selection was here also very bad. 2014 थोड़ा easy हो गया. It was okay. Selection was just okay. 2015 again very bad selection. It was in these years, it was difficult to find people with geography optional in top 100. 60-70 भी मिल गया तो बड़ा, it was like a big relief. 2016 there was again okay type selection occurred. 2017 में इस पैटर्न से जाएं तो 2017 में क्या होना चाहिए था? What should have happened in 2017 according to this pattern? The rate of success, it should have been bad, but actually it became good. It became good. Why? Because here Guidance IAS was born. And the first thing which I did, I understood the problem and I started to fill that gap. So the main problem was not with the students. Main problem was that they didn't had the correct content. Okay? So this is the nature of the selection. Paper 2, paper 2 has been dynamic for very long time. Even if you look into the question paper of before 2009, you will find that at least 30-40 questions were very dynamic. Yes, I will agree that there were questions which were more direct. There were questions coming directly about the origin of Himalayas, etc., etc. But still that time also there were lots of tricky questions in paper 2. After 2009, tricky questions का share paper 2 में थोड़ा और बढ़ गया. But the nature of questions are very not too much change. One thing which has changed is they are becoming little general. But हम देखते हैं अभी उसको कैसे कर सकते हैं. So what we are saying here, important thing is that it was actually paper 1 always in these years which was creating the difference, because paper 2 mein I found every year there were students who used to get comfortably, they used to get 140 marks, 150, 160, some even 170 in all these years. Even the worst year where the marks were lowest, this was the worst year, I would say, where the marks were lowest. Even this year we found that there were students who scored 150 plus in paper 2. So paper 2 was never the problem. What was the problem? Paper 1. If you remember yesterday, what was we saw about these papers? Tell me, can we say, based on yesterday's class, can we say that paper 1 is theoretical? Yes or no? And paper 2 is more applied. Yes or no? Tell me. This is the scenario. So what we are saying कि the students who are writing the examination, they were scoring good in this. They were scoring good every year in this, almost every year. And tell me if this is true, that they were able to score good every year in this, can we say that students में कोई problem नहीं था? They had their own creativity, they had intelligence to apply what they have learned and score marks. Yes or no? Yes, it is dynamic and current. So tell me, can we conclude this? If there's every year scoring in paper 2, it means that they have good creativity and they are able to use their creativity in the examination and score. But why they were failing here in paper 1? Can you understand this point? That if it is theory, there can be only two scenarios about the theory. Either you know or you do not know. It is true or false? Tell me. Can we say when it comes to theory, there can be only two scenarios? either you know or you do not know. ठीक है, क्योंकि यहां पर फट्टे मारने का, हियर राइटिंग स्टोरीज विल नॉट वर्क. इट इज मोर लाइक अ साइंस. either you will write correct or you will write wrong. That is as simple as that. ठीक है. And what was happening here? Students didn't had the content because hardly anyone was teaching them the landform development part of geomorphology, well, slope development, all these they were not being taught properly. Similarly, when it comes to topics like biogeography, environmental geography, they were almost left. In case of human geography, perspectives almost skipped. Economic geography, not much taught. So what they were facing this crisis of content. If you go in the examination and you are even not able to understand the question, it is not the mistake of student. It is the mistake of the institutions where they have studied. At least the teacher should have made them so much strong that they at least know the question. When the questions were coming, they even don't know from where these questions were coming. Many years it was like 2013 में they were students told me कि हम सब एक दूसरे का face देख रहे थे and we were like कि this is not a geography paper. It was like this. So the biggest problem was what? Biggest problem was they didn't had the content. However, once guidance emerged, once guidance provided that content to them, you see how geography has been now performing well. It has become one of the last year के result में, if you look into, geography was actually among the social sciences one of the highest scoring optionals. And we couldn't have imagined even this in the period which was between 2011 to 2016. There was so much discouraging. That discouragement is still continuing. बिकॉज उस समय के कुछ स्टूडेंट अभी भी तैयारी कर रहे हैं, बाबा बन गए हैं लेकिन वो तैयारी कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. सो दे हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ नेगेटिव वाइब्स विच दे आर स्प्रेडिंग. तो सबसे पहली बात क्या है? यू हैव टू बी वेरी अवेयर दैट यू डोंट हैव टू पिक अप नेगेटिविटी ऑन द सोशल मीडिया. देयर आर सो मेनी पीपल. If their experience was bad because they went to wrong places, if you go to right places, this experience will be very smooth and very good. ठीक है. So that is one change which has taken place. अब पेपर 1 में थोड़ा सा अंदर जाते हैं. Let us go inside paper 1. Number of changes have happened in paper 1. And most important change we see that most difficult questions are compulsory questions. That is, which questions होते हैं compulsory? Question number 1 and question number 5. ठीक है. Most difficult. And इस most difficult question में what they are also doing, they would put, like suppose I am talking about question number 1, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So what they would do, they would put here one exceptional question. Sometimes they would put 2 exceptional questions. Then there would be tricky and एक उसमें से होता है जो डायरेक्ट होता है, जो किया जा सकता है. This is how they are making. Similarly, question number 5 में they will again start it with generally exceptional से start करता है वो. Exceptional और tricky. इसमें मैं tricky भी लिख देता हूं because गाइडेंस के स्टूडेंट के लिए बहुत सारे जो एक्सेप्शनल क्वेश्चंस हैं, फॉर अदर्स दे विल बी ट्रिकी फॉर देम. ठीक है. सो अगेन सिमिलर थिंग लाइक हियर. नाउ टेल मी, if you are a student whose preparation level is just so and you go in the examination, सबसे पहले ही तुम्हें ये दिखाई पड़ जाए, what will be the level of motivation? What will be the level of motivation? The level of motivation will drastically go down. And they are ensuring, suppose तुमने सोचा कि सेक्शन ए में चलो कम आता है, सेक्शन बी से ज्यादा क्वेश्चन कर लेता हूं, वहां पर भी उन्होंने क्या किया, सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन एक्सेप्शनल डाल दिया. एंड जैसे ही ऐसा हुआ, व्हाट हैपेंड, you start feeling low and you even forgot those things which you know. That means your performance in those questions also, where you were prepared, would also be not up to the mark. So can you understand that here, very, very importantly, what is taking place? They are doing a psychological test. It is very smart on the part of UPSC. Tell me, क्या ऐसा करने से I am putting psychologically weak students out of the contest? Yes or no? Those students who are psychologically weak, have I not put them out of the contest? Just with these 2-3 questions. उसके बाद मैंने क्या किया, I frame other questions in such a manner where there is more balance. Tricky and direct questions का एक balance बना करके I have done that. But most of the students वहां तक पहुंच भी नहीं पाएंगे, because there was already a mental blockage which was provided by question number 1 and question number 5. So this is what UPSC has been doing. And because students were not trained about this, they were again not even able to use the already studied content that they had. And performances went to not so much good. ठीक है. We found even in 2017, even in 2017, 18, 19, every year there was this same pattern of exceptional questions starting first. ठीक है, very difficult question starting first. But tell me, how do these students, ये जो students थे, how still they got very, very good marks? How they still got very good marks? उसका basic reason था, they were already trained about this psychological test. So one of the selected students told me that जैसे ही मैंने पेपर देखा सर, when I saw the paper, I was surprised because first question I was like blacked out, because first question I didn't know. But then I remembered your words and the test series that we used to write in the classes. You always used to frame the test in similar manner, where first questions used to blow us away. And what I did did not panic. Then and there only I stopped looking at question number 1 and 5. First I looked at question number 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. And I found that I knew very well 3 solid questions from there, which I could have written. So then I looked into question number 1 and 5. Now, once I did this, I found these questions to be more manageable. समझ में आई बात? टेल मी. एंड वेरी गुड थिंग इज कि मेनी ऑफ द, मैंने एक चीज बोली ना कि मेनी ऑफ द एक्सेप्शनल क्वेश्चंस फॉर माय स्टूडेंट्स कैन ऑल्सो बी सिंपली डायरेक्ट और ट्रिकी क्वेश्चंस. लाइक एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूं. 2017 का पेपर उठा करके देखो. सेक्शन बी में पहला क्वेश्चन है अबाउट टाइम ज्योग्राफी. ठीक है. इट इज अबाउट सेक्शन बी, दैट इज 5, क्वेश्चन नंबर 5, फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन 5A, that is. And you will find it is on time geography. Time geography tak, it is part of perspectives in human geography and nobody was teaching that. But मैंने क्लास में पढ़ा रखा था. And when that year geography topper rank 5 प्रथम मेरे पास आया, he was like so much happy and he told me कि वो जो time geography का जो impact था, I felt like I knew. Otherwise it would have been disaster. So that is what I am saying कि ये जो difficulties अभी आ रही हैं, we know about these difficulties, we have researched on these difficulties, and we know how to ultimately deal with these kind of problems. The answer is simple, twofold. You complete your coverage of the syllabus, one. Second, you do lots of practice in this type of pattern, where you increase the number of tricky questions, not the exceptional ones. Exceptional ones का रोल इतना ही होता है कि they are kept to give you that psychological feeling. ठीक है. अगर मैं exceptions को तैयार करने लगा, if I run behind exceptions, then the syllabus will never be complete. So we don't run behind exceptions. We prepare our tricky category and we prepare our direct category questions. ठीक है. And that is how it is managed. So देखो, when we are talking about paper 1, the strategy is very simple. Paper 1 strategy we are talking about. It is very simple and it is simply to memorize. और अगर मैं सिंपल भाषा में बोलूं, which many of you might be understanding, it is about mugging up, rectification. Do you get what I am saying? So बाकी सब चीजें छोड़ दो. Forget about everything and remember that this is the key in paper 1. This point is the key in paper 1 which will get you good marks. Because paper 1 में the same thing, theoretical part, you know or you do not know. ठीक है. Second thing we have found also in paper 1, that those people who prepare human geography well, those students who are comfortable in human geography, these are the students who cross 300 plus marks. These are the students who are crossing 300 marks. Overall, in our discussion, did we saw then when we were talking about geography, that geography is study of human environment relationship? Yes or no? Did we talk about that? That geography was study of human environment relationship. Now tell me that if geography is so, then whose subject matter more overlaps with geography, is the core of geography? Did we saw कि human geography is also study of human environment relationship? Yes or no? Obviously yes. So can I say human geography is actually at the core of geography? It is actually at the core of geography. Physical geography we are studying to make sure that we understand the human environment relationship well. Physical geography is essentially what? It is a medium. It is not the end. But human geography in a way is the end of geography. Okay? This is also we are finding in UPSC. So generally those students whose human geography is strong, these are the ones who cross 300 plus. और एक बात अगर तुम लोगों को पता होगा, you ask in anywhere, most of the people will tell you कि human geography is the area where no one teaches. Nobody teaches human geography. They will just revolve their classes around physical geography. उसमें भी 3 topics होते हैं, geomorphology, climatology, oceanography. And hardly they'll pay attention to human geography. Guidance does that. Guidance gives equal weightage to human geography. ठीक है? How we can enrich more in paper 1? Beside this mugging up with some kind of practices with respect to, we can make some diagrams in the answers. We can make some maps in the answers. Map and diagram एक ही बात होती है. We can give some examples and even case studies. मैं तुम लोगों को सिखाऊंगा कि how these examples and case studies we can pick up from India. जरूरी नहीं है कि मैं वर्ल्ड के लिए अलग से प्रिपेयर करूं. Tell me, don't you think that paper 2 is actually case study of the theories which we are studying? Whole of paper 2, don't you think it is a case study? Tell me. Obviously, yes, it is a case study. So, why not अलग से प्रिपेयर करने के बजाय can I just import few things from paper 2 to paper 1? Obviously कर सकते हैं. I'll give you one example. Suppose there is one question like compare the climatic classification of Köppen and त्रिवार्था और कोपेन और थॉर्नथवेट कोई भी. सो सबसे पहले मैंने यहाँ पे कंपेयर करना है. सो कंपैरिजन में आई विल राइट व्हाट आर द सिमिलैरिटीज एंड व्हाट आर द डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन देम. ये दोनों लिख दिया हमने. ठीक है. नाउ टेल मी, कैन आई से आई कैन फर्दर एनरिच माई आंसर बाय गिविंग अ केस स्टडी ऑफ इंडिया? If you look into the syllabus, you will find that you actually have to study. So, can you see this? Can you see this climatic regions? So, within this climatic regions, we study many authors, climatic classification with respect to India. So, we study about Köppen, we study about Thornthwaite, we study about Trivartha, we study about Stamp, we study with respect to R.L. Singh. So, many such regionalizations we are studying under climatic regions. So, tell me, अगर मैंने ये पढ़ रखा है तो can I import this there? Yes or no? Obviously, yes. Take other example. Suppose they are asking utility or application of Thornton weight climatic classification. Thornton weight climatic classification. ठीक है. So main climatic classification Thornton weight का होता क्या है? He is Thornton weight through his climatic classification he is bringing out new concepts. One is he is bringing out the concept of potential to evapotranspirate PET, and on the basis of this he compares this ratio with rainfall, and he talks about moisture index, that is basically water availability. Water availability. So tell me, water availability in an area, will it determine the nature of vegetation? Will it be determining the nature of vegetation? If water availability is greater, can I say there will be tropical rainforests?